Hello, Alexander. Welcome to the Q&A of Your Film Collective.
Thank you for having me.
I want to say something for the viewers. We first in Les Arcs, we rarely put a documentary in competition, and we never put a film which was playing a year before, because your film premiere in Venice, not this year, but the year before. But during 1 year, me, Pierre, Guillaume, we were always talking about your film. Say, okay, so we need to play the film, but in competition. So it's a little bit unusual, but we are so happy to have your film in competition. And we're also so happy that your film is also representing Romania for the Oscars.
Yeah, congratulations for that. Yeah.
We're going to follow your steps.
No, it was one of the most powerful film we watched this year. So really congratulations. And it's so rare to catch such a moment of history of a country, and you get it, and it's just the way you catch us at the beginning of the film. It's really something frightening, and then we enter into this how do you say that, this enquête, this investigation, sorry. This investigation, and which is just crazy. How did you in this moment think really quickly to make the film in this collective moment, and find how did you find this journalist, this which was not an investigation journalist, but a sport magazine, a sport paper? How did you get this connection?
Already after the fire, people took the streets, and we had these mass demonstrations, and it was clear that something new is happening in Romania, in a very young democracy in the end, and it was clear that one should try to capture it in a way in a film, but I didn't want to make a film, filming demonstrations, then making interviews with people saying clever things about what's happening in the streets. And because I do observational, I do cinema verite, I need to find characters that I can follow and through whose eyes I can see what is happening in society. So basically we put together a development team, an investigative team of our own, to find out who could be protagonists. So we really started to spend time with victims, with parents, with doctors, with also with journalists. And basically, Tolontan is an investigative journalist, and his team, they do this since over 25 years, and he is basically one of the most, let's say, politicians are most afraid of Tolontan in Romania. But he did his investigations mainly in the sports world because he's a sports journalist. And so he investigated politicians like ministers of sports that had to go to jail directly from their office because of the investigations. The big football bosses had to go to jail because of the corruption they did with buying and selling football players. And this was new for them. Healthcare system was new, but because the majority of the press failed right after the fire and did not investigate the lies and the manipulation of the authorities that said that they can handle this hundreds of burned patients, they were the only ones that were doing it. And so, the co-writer of the film that was also leading our team, our development team, said, like, this would be the perfect character. If you could follow these journalists while they investigate the healthcare system, that would be great. But it's too bad it will never be possible because Tolontan was known for being very rigid and nobody believed he would let us film. But it happened then. It took a while to convince him, but at a certain point he was convinced.
But as a documentary filmmaker, did you feel since the beginning this collective affair, this discotheque, the fire, going to be a big change for Romania? Because what's happened after not your film, but all the investigation, it was also in terms of politically, it was really a big change for Romania. It was all over. When did you feel it is going to be something big for the country?
It is hard to say now. I mean, it felt like a change already after the fire, it felt like now everybody has to speak the truth. So it was a feeling in the society, and I think that we as documentary filmmakers, we also benefited from it. I think that the openness that the journalists showed in the end, and the openness that the young Minister of Health showed, that we follow in the second half of the film showed, it was all linked in a way to a spirit that was happening in Romania at that time, that is now gone again. But it was clear that something is happening, but I never suspected the story that we will follow to be so big and that we will be able to go so deep. In the beginning, I thought, okay, it will be a local film, but I think it is, in a way, my duty to try to understand through filmmaking this process, because, I had enough skills to know how to try to get access.
And I think the film is not only important for Romania, I think it's important for Europe, because definitely this way, this fail, in fact, of this system, and the way that, how collectively we cannot finally help the people like the system should help them, and how the money disappeared and is not going to the good people. This is all the question Europe is asking now, and the question of state of right, the question of truth and belief in this Europe, and what are what's the most important in this Europe. And I think this film is really touching something at the moment really important. We are in discussion with Poland and Hungary about what is important, what is the value in Europe. And I think it's really interesting that the position of Romania now is different after this affair. And also this film, I think it's going to the parliament also, which is very important that all this European Parliament watch this film. But I think it's really touching something in the middle of Europe and our which world we want to create together, in fact.
Exactly. So basically, during filming the film, so during the year of 2016, while we were filming, we realized that the world around us suddenly shows its real face. And basically, we thought that Romanian politics, which are populist since the revolution, I mean, they are the same political class that comes out of the communist political class, they are corrupt and populist, that really lie all the time. They only manipulate. They basically pretend to do politics for the people and steal all the public funds. That's Romanian politics. And what we saw in Romania, and thought in a way that it's a small scale, we saw that all countries around us are transforming in what we see in Romania. So we had Brexit 2016, we had Trump, you had the elections in 2007, beginning of April, May 2017, and people were afraid that Marine Le Pen could win the elections, because it was still a time where we didn't understand that these populist politicians really come in with a lot of lies. They seem to speak the language of the people that feel betrayed by the system. And in the end, they are really highly incompetent and highly corrupt, as we also saw with Le Pen afterwards. She was investigated for the corruption she did with the money from the European Parliament. And basically, yes, the world we're living in now Romania is in a way the small model of what the whole world looks like now. And that was also for us in a way, I don't know if surprising, but it was a revelation to understand that basically this Romanian story reflects a worldwide story, and that we don't trust anymore the people that are in power.
Which is also important, because I think your movie is also about courage. The courage of a filmmaker, the courage of a journalist, the courage of a minister who want to change, and even if everything is not possible, but it make, I think, we can believe that it's possible, and your film is really a good inspiration in that, because I think, when you look at this journalist, you can see that, yes, it's possible to change a country. It's possible to change the bad things which are happening, and I think it's really important for the people.
Exactly. Basically, it was one whistleblower, one doctor, a woman. All whistleblowers were women in Romania during 2016, and because she had the courage to go to the journalists and reveal the lies that her colleagues are telling the people, and her colleagues helped politicians to tell the lies, so doctors were lying. Her courage changed basically the story of Romania in 2016, because not only did it stop the company that was diluting the disinfectant since 10 years, with all the politicians knowing and the Secret Service knowing, but it really changed the approach of people to the press and to the truth. And it opened up something. Because of these investigations, the Romanian civil society really became stronger. And today, for example, the civil society, just to prove the politicians that they are lying, that they cannot build hospitals in 30 years, in 2 years, an NGO built a super big new hospital for cancer patients in 2 years with our money. So we all donated money, including the band Metallica that came and donated $250,000 euro, and they built a hospital. Mm-hmm. And now we have elections on Sunday, and the politicians are still lying that they will build hospitals. It's the same. Every 4 years they say the same thing.
But that's why we need control in Europe. That's why we need this, the rules in discussion right now, and it's really important.
Yeah, I want to say, I mean, the film, it's not a film made by the journalist, but by a fantastic filmmaker. Because there is in the film a lot, you know, the millefeuille in French pastry, you have a lot of layers. So it's like a nice millefeuille, which is really good with the sugar on top. And you have many, of course, the construction and Minister of Health, but visually, because you have this scene which is out of nowhere with this woman, which is burned, which is really like an art piece. And you have also the use of the voiceover, and at the end, when after the cemetery, it's like a fiction film. So I think you constructed the film not only in terms of theme, but visually. Was it on purpose? Was it what you wanted to do from the beginning, or during the editing to add a lot of, like a puzzle, like to add a lot of elements which are stylistically not in the same?
No, not from the beginning, because in the beginning, when we started to follow the journalists, I thought it will be a film about journalism. But then basically, and I knew for sure from the beginning that I want the victims to be part of it, because it was in a way their story. Their suffering in a way started the story. But I didn't know how far it will go with all the layers. And I tried to understand while making the film how, in a way, the film really expresses the emotions and the pressure we felt during that time in Romania. And I had the feeling I have to find a way to compress this living through this feeling for a foreign viewer to understand what it feels like to go through these things. And for sure, it was a challenge to see, how do you photograph this? How do you film these things? Because at the same time, it's cinematic, but also it is a story that takes place a lot around tables, people around tables. So I had to understand that basically it is a story that has to translate human attitude in cinema. Why do we watch people around tables negotiating things? Why do, it's about human attitude, and also the minister for me was my very own question. How would I react if I, as a normal citizen, would be put in this position of power? How would I take my decisions? How would I fight? So all these questions, in a way, led to how do you film human attitude?
Mm-hmm. You are the cinematographer of your film. And then I have a question about how did you film everything? Because probably, maybe it's a cinema verite, you told about cinema verite, and we feel the truth, everything looks true. is there any reenactment? Is there because you were shooting at the same time when they are both sitting on and they're reading the papers on the staircase? Just did you ask them to do that, or as a filmmaker, were you behind the characters all the time, shooting and then editing, or did you ask them to move a little bit just to?
No, I don't do that. I film what happens in front of the camera. So I try really to make the people from the very beginning understand that the way I work is that I will be around them. I will film, don't know what, don't know when, but.
Yes, because there is this idea of the real time, because it's all in a real time, so you need to be with them all the time.
Yeah, a lot of time. I mean, what happened with the journalists is not such a long time. It happened in portions of 2 months and 2 months with a pause in between. So basically, yes, you spend a lot of time with them, but not filming all the time. Sometimes a day is half an hour, sometimes it's maybe 5 hours. And then it was more complicated when we had to film the journalist and the ministry, because during the same day I had to go between them.
Of course.
And I knew what the journalists were doing during a day and will release the next morning. I knew that it will have repercussions in the ministry the next day. So I would go there without, nobody knew what I saw on the other side.
For the French, of course, we cannot not think about what's happened in Paris with the bombing of Bataclan. When you see the victims, so we saw the reportage, and all over the world there is also a connection when the way you are filming the victim all together, which is, I think, very strong.
Yeah.
Bataclan, by the way, happens 2 weeks after this.
2 weeks after the
collective fire, yeah. Bataclan was in what date was that? November
15. No? Yeah.
Bataclan, it was the 13. Yeah,
the 13.
Yeah.
And this was the 30th of October, so 2 weeks in between.
It was not a problem to show this sequence into the discotheque, into the concert room. No,
I mean, there were a lot of discussions, should we use it, should we not use it? And in the end, I think it is important that a cinema viewer understands really by his own how fast your life can change and how fast you really can be dependent on the society you're living in, and if things really work. And the footage basically is from a friend that is also a filmmaker, and he was there to film the concert with 5 cameras, with 5 other people. He was very close to the band. They shared a studio. And this footage is from one of the cameras. The cameraman died, but his girlfriend pulled the camera out of the discotheque by its tripod. So it was basically a Blackmagic cinema pocket camera in front of the stage.
This sequence is just a frightening. It's amazing to see how it goes quickly and how it's
but
it's
there is not
hell
but the good thing is there is very little. It's very short.
Yeah,
it's not too much, and I think it's super. It's maybe 1 minute, so it's not, and it's enough to understand everything. So we are super happy you're gonna open next year with the new opening of the French cinema, because your film gonna be released I think end of February.
24th of February, yeah.
And it's typically a film you can offer and share and bring. It's like we are discussing the film all the time. So I know everybody going to discuss about the film, and I would love to discuss it with my daughter and family. Oh yeah, there's a film, you should see the film. It's exactly a film to share, and it's a really accessible to the audience. So I think you were thinking about to be understandable to everybody. Everybody can understand the film, and congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and thank you for selecting the film.
Really, congratulations. Really, this film, it's so important for the society in Europe and in the world.
But it doesn't mean you are not invited to the mountain next year, or because
we will find a way.
We'll find a way to put you somewhere, because we are missing, of course, the festival, but we are missing our guests and filmmakers we like with us in the mountains. And
I hope
I would love to come next year.
Yeah.